Hey folks, Nathan with Access RV back with you once again. Today we have got 8 propane tips. If you've been struggling or have questions about the propane system on your RV, this is the video for you. If you like what we're doing, make sure you like and subscribe so that we can keep bringing you these types of videos. Let's get right to it. Okay, the number one tip I have for you for propane systems. We get a phone call at the service department at Access RV that says something like, hey, my refrigerator won't fire up on gas. We always ask customers, have you bled the system yet? A lot of times they say no. Here's the process on which you do that. Go to your cooktop. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And let's let that burn for about 30 seconds or so. We should see a nice strong blue flame. We don't want to see a lot of yellow in that flame. That way we know we're getting all of the oxygen, if there is any, out of the system. Once you have a nice strong flame burning, you can go ahead and turn that off. Now is the time to try and fire up your appliances. Most of the times if you do this, all of your appliances will fire on the first or second try usually. Try that tip next time your refrigerator won't turn on gas. Okay, here we are with tip number 2. Phone call we get at the Access RV service department is, hey, I can't get any propane into my RV. It just stopped flowing. Customer might think it's their bottle. Maybe they don't have propane, or something is frozen up in the bottle is what we get told. In the service department, oftentimes we don't think about the bottle itself so much as we start to think about the pigtail that feeds propane from the tank to the RV. Built inside this pigtail is what is called an excess flow valve. If too much propane tries to flow through this at one time, it will trip that excess flow valve. Now the way to reset that is, you go out to your RV with your handle hooked up, you shut off the flow of propane, open up the pigtail until you hear the release of propane pressure, reattach the pigtail, and then very slowly, and I stress very slowly, reopen up that bottle of propane. Try that next time you can't get any propane flowing into your RV. Okay, for tip number 3, we've come outside. We're going to talk about the appliances on your RV. The appliances that burn propane are usually your furnace, your water heater, and in this case, the refrigerator. At least on an annual basis, you should be pulling the access panels to your appliances, and you want to check the propane lines. You want to check the gas valves. You want to check the burn chambers. Here at the shop, we use compressed air and we blow these out really good to get the leaves and the debris and the little particles out of it. Spiders and bugs love the smell of propane, and they want to make little nests in there. Make sure that you take those little burner tubes off, clean them out with a pipe cleaner, or blow them out with some compressed air. Keep your appliances working the way they should. Tip number 4, on at least an annual basis, you should be taking your RV to an RV repair facility that is certified in repairs. On an annual basis, there is a very specific propane leak check that they should be doing on your behalf. Very specialized propane equipment that they use to do those tests. So make sure you take it to your RV dealership on an annual basis to have that checked. Okay, tip number 5. We get lots of questions about how these auto changeover regulators actually work. You've got 2 tanks on your RV, a right and a left. There's a little sight glass here, and then there's a little valve that switches back and forth. How this works is, the direction that this arm is pointed towards is the primary bottle. If the primary bottle has propane, this little sight glass right here is going to be green. When that bottle runs out of propane, this turns red. But inside here, it automatically changes over to the other side. But what you need to know is, when it's in changeover mode, you lose about 30% of the capacity of the propane system. So what you should do is simply move that knob over to the side that has propane. You should see this sight glass turn green. Then you could disconnect your bottle, take it down and get it filled and bring it back. Once you see that this sight glass has turned red again, go ahead and flip it to the other side, take this bottle down and get it filled. And that's how the automatic changeover regulator works. Okay, we're back with tip number 6. This is so you know how much propane you have in your tanks when you're out camping. There's really 3 ways to find out how much propane you have in your tank. Now, your grandpa might have taught you this one. When you're using your propane system, you can take some warm water or some hot water. You can actually throw it on the side of the tank. And what you're looking for is you're looking for a frost line that then develops on the tank, and then you know kind of where the level is at on your tank. The second method would be, there are stickers. and they stick to the side of the tank, they have a tendency to come off, and they're not highly accurate, and you do have to be using your system in order to know how much propane you have, because it just gauges temperature. If you would like to use technology, this device has come out. Now we're going to talk about this in a future video, so make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can learn a little bit more about it. But this uses technology. It pairs with your phone. It actually sticks to and stays on the bottom of your propane tank and sends a very precise amount of propane to your phone. So from the comfort of inside your RV, you could simply look at your phone and know exactly how much propane you had. You never want to run out and leave you and your family cold. On to tip number 7. Tip number 7 is actually about propane detectors. So the number one complaint we get about detectors is it's going off and I don't know why. And the number one reason for that is because the batteries in your RV have gone low. Just like the smoke detector in your house, if this starts going off, it's probably starving for some voltage. So make sure your RV is plugged in or that your batteries are in good condition. There's a button on the front that you can push to reset it if it is going off. If it's still going off, it may need to be replaced. Propane detectors are good for 7 years. There's a date stamped right on the back of these. Replace it after 7 years. Also, you should be checking this on a periodic basis. You push and hold the test button for between 3 to 5 seconds and it should start beeping at you. As soon as you let go, that alarm should go off. The light should be green and you'd be good to go. On to our last tip, number 8. Okay, tip number 8 is for you cold weather 4-season campers. We get phone calls at Access RV Service Department say something to the effect of, hey, I'm camping, it's very cold outside and my furnace isn't keeping me warm. It feels like it's barely getting hot at all. Well, the problem may not be with your furnace, it may be with your propane. The furnace in your RV uses a vapor phase of liquid propane. We store it as a liquid, and through the evaporation process it turns into a vapor. The way to get around this in cold weather conditions is keep your bottles full. The more liquid propane you have in your bottle, the greater the surface area there is to turn that liquid propane into a vapor phase that your RV then uses and burns. Your water heater, your furnace, your refrigerator, etc. So when you're camping in cold temperatures, tip number 8 is keep your bottles full. Okay folks, that's our top 8 tips that we've got for you today. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that we can keep bringing this content to you. We'll see you again next week.